What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 17.
Millionaire Maker. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
Okay guys, this is for the Millionaire Maker slate, which is the Sunday main slate at 1 p.m. Oh, and stick around to the very end of this video. After I show you all my picks in the Draft Dashboard tools, I'll show you these players in DraftKings and in FanDuel, the Millionaire Maker slates. There'll be 2 spots open that you have to fill in, but you'll have a great Millionaire Maker core. Okay guys, NFL Week 17. Let's take a look at the quarterback position. So I'm going to give you a sleeper pick as my Millionaire Maker quarterback. I just think he's in a fantastic spot this week. I think his ownership is way too low. So I like Joe Burrow from the Cincinnati Bengals playing the Kansas City Chiefs, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they give up the 5th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Joe Burrow has averaged 20.7 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 2.3 rush attempts per game. He's only going to be about 1% owned, projected at 19.5 fantasy points here in Week 17. He's 6,900 DraftKings salary, 800 more on FanDuel. And Vegas thinks there's going to be 50 points scored in this game, with the Bengals trailing by 5. So you got a high-scoring game, a fantastic matchup, and a passing game script. And Joe Burrow has scored 41, 13, and 25 fantasy points in the last 3 games. And he got 2, 5, and 2 rush attempts in those games. On top of all of that, it's going to be a home game, so I like Joe Burrow here versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $100 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $100 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. My Millionaire Maker running back is Ronald Jones from the Tampa Bay Bucks playing the New York Jets, who have the absolute worst defense overall. They give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Ronald Jones has averaged, he's only averaged 5.2 fantasy points per game on the season, but you can throw these season numbers out because he was behind Leonard Fournette. Now he is the lead running back with no Leonard Fournette. And last game, he scored 16 fantasy points off of 20 rush attempts and 3 pass targets. He's going to be about 14% owned, projected at 13.6 fantasy points here in Week 17. He's 6,300 DraftKings salary, 700 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 45.5 points scored in this game, with the Tampa Bay Bucks favored by 13. So you have the best possible running back matchup on the slate in a running game script with a guy that's going to be getting a ton of carries. So I like Ronald Jones here versus the New York Jets. Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. Now I'm going to stack this wide receiver with Joe Burrow. It's also going to be a sleeper pick, low salary, and I still don't understand why this guy is not getting more ownership. He's played pretty well this season, fantastic past couple of weeks. So I like Tyler Boyd from the Cincinnati Bengals playing the Kansas City Chiefs, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. They're middle-of-the-pack defending opposing wide receivers. Tyler Boyd has averaged 11.6 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 5.9 pass targets per game. He's going to be about 2% owned. He's on the field for 77% of the snaps, projected at 10.8 fantasy points here in week 17. He's $5,400 DraftKings salary and $800 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 50 points scored in this game, with the Bengals trailing by 5. So it should be a passing game script for the Bengals as they play behind versus the Kansas City Chiefs. It's going to be a lot of pressure on Joe Burrow to throw the ball. And Tyler Boyd has scored 18, 21, and 10 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 5, 6, and 5 pass targets. So I like Tyler Boyd here versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL. NBA is right around the corner. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, moving on to the tight end position. So where's my Millionaire Maker tight end? There he is. So we've saved some salary on the previous positions. So my Millionaire Maker tight end is Travis Kelce from the Kansas City Chiefs playing the Cincinnati Bengals, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they give up the 7th most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Travis Kelce has averaged 17.8 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 8.7 pass targets per game. He's on the field for 83% of the snaps, going to be about 7% owned. He didn't play last week, so he's going to be super healthy and rested. And he's projected at 18.2 fantasy points here in week 17. He's $7,300 DraftKings salary, $900 more on FanDuel. So I think this game is a good game to stack because Vegas thinks it's going to be a high-scoring game and a relatively close competitive game. So I think there's going to be pressure on both sides of the ball to continue to score. It's a good matchup for Travis Kelce, and he scored 44 fantasy points off of 13 pass targets in the last game that he played. So we know he has monster upside. So I like Travis Kelce here versus the Cincinnati Bengals.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video.
You've unlocked the bonus content. Okay guys, here we are in the DraftKings lineup optimizer. Over here on Draft Dashboard, we have our Millionaire Maker core locked in here, and we've generated a lineup. So let's see who we got. We got Joe Burrow, Ronald Jones, Antonio Gibson, Emmanuel Sanders, Tyler Boyd, Michael Gallup, Travis Kelce, Dallas Goedert, and the Patriots defense. So what sticks out to me here is we're doubled up at the tight end position, but I really don't mind that because we got Travis Kelce in our tight end position. Then we got Dallas Goedert in our flex position. Dallas Goedert has some monster upside,
30 plus fantasy point upside, and he's only 5,100 DraftKings salary, and he's facing a weak defense, so he's got a fantastic matchup here versus the Washington football team. So let's see. Yeah, the Washington football team gives up the second most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. So I like the double tight end stack here. Normally don't run that, but I think it works in this lineup. And then we have a couple of opposing players. We got Antonio Gibson from the Washington football team running it back with Dallas Goedert. And of course, we have Travis Kelce running it back with Tyler Boyd. So if those two games are high scoring and our players score some touchdowns, this lineup could score a lot of fantasy points. So I'm going to save this lineup so I can optimize it later if anything changes. Okay, now here we are in the FanDuel lineup optimizer. Over here on Draft Dashboard, we have our Millionaire Maker core locked in here. Let's see, do we got all our players? Ronald Jones. Oh, there he is, Tyler Boyd. Okay, so we got our Millionaire Maker core locked in here. We've generated a lineup. So let's see who we got. We got Joe Burrow, Ronald Jones, David Montgomery, Jalen Waddle, Tyler Boyd, A.J. Brown, Travis Kelce, Jacoby Myers, and the Raiders defense. So I love this lineup. I mean, I pretty much love every play in this lineup except for the Raiders defense. But you know what? Sometimes if you want to fit in all the players that you want to get into your lineup, you got to roll the dice with a low salary defense. And you never know, they could get a pick six and run it back for a touchdown. You just don't know what's going to happen with the defense. That's really all it takes for them to be a good defense in your lineup. So let's just take a look at this here. I love Jalen Waddle from the Miami Dolphins. He's been a target monster. He scored 20.2 fantasy points last week, 13.5 the game before that, 24.2, 16.6. So he's been on a roll. He's by far the number one target on the team right now. And then running it back with A.J. Brown, who scored 26 fantasy points last week. So he's hot right now. So I really like this lineup. And David Montgomery, he scored 20.1 fantasy points last week. And I think he's got a good matchup here versus the Giants, who give up the seventh most, or they have the seventh worst defense. No, I'm sorry, they do. They give up the seventh most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Sorry, I was reading that wrong. The opponent position rank is the ranking versus the position. So versus running backs, they have the 25 worst team, so give up the seventh most. And then their defensive rank, overall defensive rank, is the 21st worst. So David Montgomery has a good matchup here, and he's going to be about 33% owned. So you can see a lot of other people like this play. So I like this lineup. I like that we have a couple of low ownership plays here. Tyler Boyd, only 2%. Joe Burrow, only 3%. So if Joe Burrow and Tyler Boyd can hook up for a couple of touchdowns in this game, this lineup's got a really good chance. So I'm going to save this lineup so I can optimize it later if anything changes.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.